Mama Ego ran. She ran like someone whose debt had finally caught up with her. She didn't stop until she reached the far end of the market, where she collapsed onto a wooden bench, breathing like a tired goat. "Ah, my enemies have won today," she gasped, wiping the sweat from her face. An old woman selling roasted corn gave her a side eye. "Which enemies? Nobody is chasing you," Mama Ego hissed. "You won't understand." And truly, who would understand? Who would understand that she wanted a soft life? No farm work, no stress, no wahala. But somehow, trouble kept finding her like a stubborn housefly. Now she had burned down part of Madame Beatrice's backyard, and if she returned home too soon, she was sure Okonkwo would ask her to weed the entire farm as punishment. She shivered at the thought. Manual labor over my dead body. She had to find another way to escape. And just then, as if the gods were listening, an idea dropped into her head. After spending some time at the market eating free samples of roasted corn and groundnuts, Mama Ego finally returned home, just in time for lunch as planned. But before stepping into the compound, she bent over, held her stomach and started groaning dramatically. "Ah! Oh! My body! My head! My stomach! Somebody help me!" She staggered into the compound like someone who had been attacked by the village witches. Okonkwo and the other wives, who had just returned from the farm, turned to look at her. Their faces were already covered in sweat and dust from hard work, while Mama Ego looked suspiciously fresh, except for the dramatic way she was holding her belly. Mama Nkechi squinted. "What is wrong with this one again?" Mama Amaka folded her arms. "I don't trust this sudden sickness." Okonkwo stood up, his face blank. "Mama Ego, what is it?" Mama Ego collapsed onto a wooden stool, fanning herself weakly. "Ah, my husband. I don't know what happened this morning. As I was fetching water." Mama Nkechi coughed loudly. "Mm-mm-mm. Fetching water where?" Mama Ego ignored her. "As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, I was fetching water when my stomach suddenly started turning me. I tried to stand up, but my legs were shaking. I tried to shout for help, but my voice disappeared. I fell down 3 times, my husband. 3 good times." Mama Amaka raised an eyebrow. "Yet you still managed to walk home just in time for lunch?" Mama Ego shot her a deadly look, then quickly switched back to her sick face. "My dear sisters, you don't understand. This sickness is spiritual." Okonkwo rubbed his forehead. "So you are telling me that while we were breaking our backs on the farm, you were here fighting for your life?" Mama Ego nodded weakly. There was silence. Then Mama Nkechi burst out laughing. Then Mama Amaka. Even Okonkwo couldn't hold himself anymore. Mama Ego's eyes widened. "Ah, you people are laughing at me. Instead of you to call a native doctor, you are here laughing at my suffering." Mama Nkechi wiped a tear from her eye. "Mama Ego, your sickness only comes when it's time to work. In fact, I think we should take you to the shrine of Amadioha. Maybe he will cure this disease of laziness." Mama Ego gasped in horror. "Tufiakwa, don't say such things." Mama Amaka shook her head. "You are a grown woman, but you behave like a spoiled child. See how we are all tired from the farm, but you are here with fresh skin and big energy to lie." Okonkwo sighing deeply. "Mama Ego, enough is enough. You are not sick. You are just lazy. And if you think you will escape work, you are lying to yourself." Mama Ego folded her arms stubbornly. "What will you do?" Okonkwo smiled. "Since you like sleeping and pretending, I will give you real reason to sleep. Mama Ego frowned. What do you mean? That night, while everyone was preparing to sleep, Okonkwo called his first two wives. Mama Nkechi, Mama Amaka, come here, he whispered. They leaned in. Mama Ego have decided that she is too good for work, but tomorrow morning I will teach her a lesson she will never forget. Mama Nkechi grinned. Ah, finally, my husband is thinking like a wise man. Mama Amaka clapped her hands. What is the plan? Okonkwo chuckled. Just wait till morning. The next morning, before the first cock crowed, Okonkwo and the two wives were already awake. But instead of preparing for the farm, they stayed in the compound, pretending to be busy. As expected, Mama Ego was still fast asleep, snoring like a broken talking drum. Okonkwo smiled. Time to wake her up. He walked to the side of the hut and grabbed a big bucket of cold water. Then, without warning, splash! The ice cold water hit Mama Ego straight in the face. Yeah! She jumped up, slipping on the wet floor and landing with a heavy thud. She blinked rapidly, confused. What? What is happening? Okonkwo stood over her, holding the empty bucket. Good morning, my dear wife. You said you were sick yesterday, Abby? Mama Ego shivered. Yes, and now, because of this water, I am sicker. Okonkwo smiled. Good. Since you are sick, you need plenty of rest. Mama Ego nodded eagerly. Exactly. You finally understand me, my husband. Okonkwo continued. That's why from today, you will be locked inside this hut every morning while we go to the farm. Mama Ego's smile disappeared. Eh? Mama Nkechi stepped forward. Yes, no farm, no cooking, no moving around, no eating until we return. Okonkwo stood tall, crossing his arms. Mama Ego, I gave you a chance. I asked you to work and instead you gave me excuses. Today you will stay here, locked in this hut until you learn a lesson. I have learned my lesson, she said quietly, a bit defeated. Tomorrow, I will work hard. I will be the best wife ever. You better, Okonkwo said, his voice stern. After Okonkwo's speech the night before, Mama Ego had tossed and turned, trying to figure out how to escape work yet again. She even tried to convince herself that she could fake sickness a second time. But the memory of the ice-cold water splashed on her face came back too vividly. Mama Ego dragged herself out of bed, rubbed her eyes and looked around. Ah, the early morning sunlight is shining like the devil's work today. She sighed deeply. Okonkwo cannot push me like this. Today, I must rise and shine, whether I like it or not. She stumbled outside. She knew today would be different. She was tired of fighting and running from responsibility. She was sick of being lazy. Mama Ego, Okonkwo called, without looking at her. I hope you are ready. No more excuses today. You either walk or you stay locked in the hut. Choose. Mama Ego stood tall. I choose walk, my husband. No more excuses. I am ready to make you proud. Mama Nkechi raised an eyebrow. Did I hear that right? Mama Ego, the queen of laziness, has decided to walk. Mama Ego straightened her back. Yes, I have made my decision. By the time the sun was setting, the family had cleared a good portion of the farm. Mama Ego's back was sore, her hands calloused, but she didn't care. She felt a sense of accomplishment that she had never known before. When they gathered to leave, Okonkwo turned to Mama Ego. You have done well today. You didn't make excuses, and you worked like the others. I am proud of you. You have learned that nothing in life comes without effort. You can't just sit down and wait for things to happen. You have to put in the work. Mama Nketi added, and if you are lazy, you will never enjoy the rewards that come from hard work. You will always be stuck, waiting for someone else to do your job. Mama Amaka smiled. That's right. There's no shortcut to success. I understand now. I may have been lazy, but I won't be anymore. I will work hard. I will build and I will rise up. Mama Ego felt lighter than she had in years. She had finally learned the truth. She cannot skip the hard work. You cannot cheat life. She had always blamed others for her laziness, but now she knew that it was her own fault all along. From that day on, Mama Ego was a changed woman. She worked alongside her co-wives and Okonkwo without complaint. Please subscribe, like and share for more stories.